Great North Woods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Coming up on Good Morning Maine, one person is dead after getting struck by a vehicle in Bradford. Also, a new report indicates a growing number of Mainers are struggling to afford their basic needs. And why a new road sign is upsetting some people who make their living in Amherst. We'll tell you about that as well. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Craig Colson. Janessa Bishop has the day off. We thank you for joining us. We'll have all the day's news coming up, but first a check of that forecast, and there's some very good news in that department. It's looking like today will be a beautiful sunny day. Temperatures getting up into the upper 70s, near 80 degrees. Really a great day today, and it looks like it will be even warmer tomorrow. If you like that kind of thing, you're in luck because it's going to be very warm and sunny tomorrow as well. Let's turn things over to Devin Biggs for a first look at that forecast.
Alrighty, Craig, thank you very much. Happy Wednesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. Alrighty, here we go this morning. No advisories in effect, just some passing clouds. Overall, it will be a nice day to get outside yet again under a mostly sunny sky with temperatures making it into the 80s yet again. High pressure will be taking over. Look at this, pretty quiet across the eastern coast, some thunderstorms over the ocean. As for us, just some passing clouds, and again, it's going to get rather quiet for the next few days. Look at Futurecast right here. It's going to be rather nice outside today with lots of sunshine, maybe a few passing clouds later on tonight, but overall mostly clear, a few passing clouds and very limited as we head towards tomorrow. We'll have to wait until tomorrow night for any more clouds that will be passing through. If you're heading outside today, a nice one out there. That UV index forecast will be at a 7. That's high, a burn time of 30 minutes. Hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, and shade will be necessary to avoid a bad sunburn. Your hourly forecast, we have lots of sunshine today with temperatures that will be making it into the upper 70s. And look at that, even some lower 80s as we head towards the afternoon. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig?
Looks spectacular. Thank you, Devin. We'll see you later on. Well, one person is dead after being struck by a vehicle in Bradford. Penobscot County Sheriff Troy Morton says it happened Tuesday afternoon on Route 221. He says a vehicle traveling south on Route 221 toward Glenburn struck a pedestrian who was on the roadway. The person was pronounced dead at the scene.
We were assisted by emergency medical folks from both Glenburn and Bradford Fire, which attempted to provide life-saving efforts here at the scene, but those were unsuccessful.
Well, Sheriff Morton says some details are not being released until family members are notified. He says witnesses are being interviewed and the investigation is ongoing. Meanwhile, a man from the town of Leeds has received his sentence for murdering his friend. Joseph Shute has been ordered to serve 55 years in prison for the murder of Alex Jackson. Jackson was shot on the head in May of 2023, and his body was discovered months later, hidden inside a barrel in New Hampshire. Prosecutors believe the shooting was over money that Shute owed to Jackson. Shute has also been ordered to pay $5,000 in restitution to the state's Victims' Compensation Program and another $7,000 to the Maine Warden Service. Meanwhile, workers in Searsmont are back on the job at Robbins Lumber Company. The mill was closed for 11 days because of the explosion and fire last month, and now the acting president says the mill is fully operational. Brad Rogers shows us donations continue to be raised for the family members and first responders still hospitalized following that terrible event.
A Robbins Lumber employee told us off camera things are getting back to normal at the mill. Acting President Catherine Robbins Halstead says the company's East Baldwin Mill has also stepped up production efforts to help out. The company is also using its Sanford location for warehousing in addition to the temporary warehouse built at the Searsmont Mill. 12 people remain hospitalized, some with very serious injuries, including 3 members of the Robbins family.
Alden, Jim Robbins Jr. and Alden's daughter are still in Boston in the wound care unit. down there, and that's where our thoughts are with the families that have been affected, especially the first responders and then the Robbins family members.
Robbins Halstead says the family is encouraged by their progress and remain hopeful. There are numerous fundraisers. Donations to the Maine Strong Foundation go to the family of the firefighter killed and the 12 others who were injured. There are also fundraisers for first responders, including one here in Searsmont. In addition to the $75,000 in donations to Town Hall for their injured first responders, local businesses are also raising money. At this redemption center in Searsmont, people are donating their bottles and cans to injured firefighters and first responders.
Every day we have cans come in. There's 7 bags on the table right now that I'm counting.
Ryan Fry says in a week and a half, they've raised nearly $700.
This is going to be long term for them. They're out of work for a long period of time, so they're going to need a lot of support.
The Maine Strong Foundation has raised nearly $440,000 to support families impacted by the explosion and fire. The U.S. Small Business Administration is also offering economic injury loans for anyone impacted by the fire. That includes logging contractors who supply timber to the mill.
And that was Brad Rogers reporting. In other news, the Maine Masonic Foundation has announced a new matching grant initiative to help local lodges assist their communities in the aftermath of the Searsmont fire and explosion. The foundation is allocating an additional $50,000 in matching funds to further aid eligible victims, local organizations, and nonprofits that were affected. A statement says the Masons have a long history of promoting the well-being of their communities in challenging moments like these, whether by offering their time and talents or by providing direct financial aid. It says they encourage victims, community organizations, and nonprofits that are in need or are offering assistance to contact their local Masonic lodge. Well, the mural of a rainbow pride flag in downtown Bangor has been repainted after being vandalized right at the start of Pride Month. Crews from Bangor Public Works were seen Tuesday morning painting over tire marks that are believed to be the result of burnouts on the pride flag painted along the bridge connecting Hammond and State Street. City staff tells us the flag was painted just last Wednesday. The flag is painted in the same area every year for Pride Month. It's also located near a memorial dedicated to Charlie Howard, a Bangor man who died after being attacked in 1984 for being openly gay.
I would say, generally speaking, I find Bangor a wonderfully inclusive, warm, friendly, welcoming city for all people, and I think it's important that we remain that way.
I was disappointed. I mean, what's the point of doing something like that? You know, they're just out here painting it again, and I'm glad they are because of what it symbolizes. It's something exciting for our city, and it's beautiful. It adds color, and you know, no matter how many times people want to do stuff like this to symbols, it doesn't diminish anyone's spirit. It doesn't crush anybody. It just makes us more determined to be the welcoming and inclusive community that we are.
Well, a spokesperson for the city of Bangor described the incident as disappointing and says the city will continue to address such occurrences and continue to work with valued partners interested in making meaningful contributions to downtown and the city. Bangor police say they are also monitoring that incident. Well, about a half of Maine households are struggling to get by. That's according to a new national study from the Brookings Institute, a national public policy nonprofit group that says just 54% of Mainers are meeting their basic needs, which is just under the national average. Experts say it's not just high gasoline prices or even tariffs, but also increasing costs for groceries, housing, and health care. Sam DeCoste has more.
An astonishingly high number of households in Maine and across the country are barely able to make ends meet.
Experts are calling it an affordability crisis. According to the States of Affordability report, affordability in Maine has been steadily declining for years. The report claims 11% fewer Mainers are making ends meet compared to 2022. Garrett Martin from the Maine Center for Economic Policy says gas prices and tariffs alone are posing increased costs.
You're talking about Maine households having to absorb an additional $2,000 a year in costs. And that's before you start to consider what else is happening in the economy.
For Mainers of color, even fewer people are getting by. Just 40% of Hispanics and Latinos are making ends meet, and just 34% of Black Mainers.
You have the reality of what people's daily experience is. and their daily experience says, wait a second, I'm playing by the rules. I'm doing what I thought I should be doing. I'm working, you know, I'm getting educated, and yet I'm still falling behind. Why is that?
That's how some people who live in Maine say they're feeling. Melanie Cahill says the steadily increasing costs are noticeable, forcing her into tough day-to-day decisions.
I try not to drive. I try to walk everywhere as much as I can just because I like it, and I have cut back on like how much we go out to eat. And I actually really do look at the prices in the grocery store now where I didn't used to bother. Now I'm like, oh, $9 for blueberries.
According to data from the report, Cumberland, York, Oxford, and Franklin counties are where Mainers are struggling to keep up the most. But Kennebec County is by far the county where the most people are meeting their basic needs.
And that was Sam DeCoste reporting. Meanwhile, a new sign along a high-traffic Down East roadway is drawing criticism from locals. Our Alex Schley tells us why local business owners are concerned about the impact it could have on their bottom line.
Business owners in one Down East community are speaking out over a new Maine Department of Transportation sign along Route 9. The sign warns drivers of limited service for the next 75 miles and is now drawing criticism from some who live and work in the area.
It's kind of insulting that the end of the world stops at Clifton, which I'm not putting Clifton down or anything. It's just we're as important as they are. It's, you know, it just makes a sign seem like there's nothing after. And we just want to make sure that people know it.
The sign in question is located here along Route 9 East in Clifton, just feet away from the town's general store. Amherst resident Ralph Jordan has owned the general store for more than 30 years. This weekend, he took to Facebook to share his frustration with the sign.
Hey folks, Ralph Jordan at the Amherst General Store. Well, I'm not there now, but I will be. I'm not too happy about this sign. It says 75 miles. You go 8 more miles down the road, you got the Amherst General Store, you got the Airline Brewery, you got the Christmas Tree Ranch, you got Mesa's Takeout, you got Hillside Game and Ranch. What more could you ask for?
Jordan says he understands the need for the sign, but believes it should include more clarification about what services are actually available along the route.
13 more miles to get gas if they're open, and then it's pretty much Baileyville before you get to the next gas station.
The Maine Department of Transportation sent ABC7 and Fox 22 a statement saying in part, quote, the existing sign noting limited service for the next 75 miles was intended to provide advance notice to motorists. While a local general store does provide services in the area, those services are not available at all hours. Following our review, Maine DOT plans to add supplemental language to clarify. In Hancock County, Alex Schley for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Lots going on. All right, the time now is 6:13. Coming up on Good Morning Maine, we'll continue our look at the candidates Mainers will be voting for on Election Day. Today we'll meet gubernatorial hopeful Bobby Charles. But first, another look at that forecast. A beautiful day ahead today. Mostly sunny skies with high temperatures around 81 degrees. Mostly clear tonight with lows dropping down to around 50. Tomorrow, mostly sunny as well, even warmer. High temperatures around 87. We'll be back with more right after this.
Think you know Robert Charles? Think again. While President Trump was crushing the woke left, DC insider Bob Charles was cashing in, making millions holding lucrative contracts with the woke DEI Never Trump Obama administration. Bob Charles, looking the other way, abandoning the MAGA movement, working for liberal DEI-loving Democrats, failing President Trump. Anything for a buck chuck can't be trusted. Trump traitor Robert Charles, woke, radical, wrong. Just too liberal for Maine.
Every year, communities recognize outstanding service with the Spirit of America Foundation tribute. Do you know a local person or group that goes above and beyond for others? Nominate them today by contacting a select person, city or town councilor. Help honor those who make a difference where you live. For more information, visit spiritofamerica.website.
As Maine's primary election approaches quickly, we want to give our viewers a deeper look into the candidates they'll potentially be voting for. Today, we hear from Republican gubernatorial candidate Bobby Charles.
I ended up on a scholarship and working my way through Dartmouth College and then Oxford University with a degree in economics, and then Columbia Law School, the Reagan White House. Ended up serving my country 10 years in the Navy, Navy intelligence officer. Loved that experience, active duty after 9/11 and some other things. And then just a series of lightning strikes. I ended up being a federal investigator for 5 years for Gingrich. I ended up spending a lot of time working on issues that related to national security, criminal justice, and in particular working as a crime fighter to try to figure out some of the worst problems in the country. And then got a call from Colin Powell, who asked if I would consider being his Assistant Secretary of State. I told him right off first, are you sure you have the right number? And he said, I do. And then I had written a book called Narcotics and Terrorism, and at that point those were big issues. And then I said, gosh, I mean, I'd pay money to work for you. So bottom line is I ended up being an Assistant Secretary of State. My mission was to downsize a lot of the giant multi-billion-dollar operations at state, which I did. I removed bureaucrats and I thinned it out and made it efficient. But at the same time, I had to, while I was laying track, I needed to continue to deliver. So I trained the Iraqi police. I trained the Afghan police with Dave Petraeus was on the other side of those missions with the Army. I ended up helping to bring down the Cali cartel and a bunch of other things. So all of that creates a situation in which you come back to Maine with a good education, good life experience, an entire life really dedicated to service. I did spend 25 years, and I still run a company dedicated to national security. We work with the Pentagon, the various combatant commands. We do counter-narcotics training for the National Guard. And so here's what happens. You come back to Maine, and you say, okay, here are all the things I've done, and here are the problems of Maine. I've managed billions of dollars. We have big mismanagement and I would say incompetence and corruption in the government in Maine. That's important. We have a big drug problem, and that's important. We match the drug experience to the drug problem. I have been very much focused on fraud. We have a state focused on, unfortunately, managing fraud. The bottom line is, I believe that God puts us all where we're supposed to be. You right now watching this, me here talking. I believe that we have to listen very, very closely to what our mission is. And I believe that the best way to use my skills when I get up every morning, having had my life saved many times in different places, the best thing I can do is to serve the people of Maine. So I've gotten up and spent the last 13 months campaigning to tell you I want to cut taxes, property taxes, income taxes, give seniors exemptions on taxes. I want to cut crime and drugs. I want to rebuild our schools. I want to get our energy costs down. And finally, I want to get the fraud out of Maine. And that's me, Bobby Charles.
Well, as we dig into more information about candidates, our Callie Warren has the details on gubernatorial candidate finance records.
For Maine's gubernatorial candidates, we're looking at 4 independents, 5 Democrats, and 8 Republicans in the running. The Maine Ethics Commission keeps track of those candidates, the funds that they've raised, and their up-to-date expenditures. Starting with independents, Rick Bennett has $528,000 raised in total and a little over $295,000 in expenditures, leaving him with $233,000 in cash on hand. W. Edward Crockett is looking at $9,000 raised overall, with $1,250 for expenditures, so his cash on hand total is $7,800. Looking now at our Democrat hopefuls, Shenna Bellows has $1,073,000 in contributions and loans, $515,000 in expenditures, and $419,000 for cash on hand. Troy Jackson raised $643,000 and spent a little over $388,000, leaving him with $140,000. Angus King III has $908,000 raised in total and a little shy of $570,000 spent, with $314,000 left over. Hannah Pingree has raised over $1.3 million and spent just under $650,000, leaving her with just over $500,000. Nirav Shah has $509,000 raised and $170,000 spent, ending up with $275,000 for cash on hand. Finally, our Republican runners, Jonathan Bush has $1.3 million in contributions and loans, over $700,000 in expenditures for a cash-on-hand total of $617,000. Bobby Charles is looking at $621,000 raised, $300,000 spent, leaving him with $290,000 left over. For David Jones, contributions and loans total $439,000. Expenditures are $212,000, making for $173,000 cash on hand. James Libby has raised almost $15,000 and spent $14,300, leaving him with $389. No data is available for Garrett Mason. Owen McCarthy is looking at $391,000 raised and has spent $176,000, making his cash on hand total $166,000. Ben Midgley has raised around $500,000 and spent $235,000, leaving him with $158,000. Robert Wessels is looking at $41,000 raised, almost $25,000 in expenditures, $16,000 cash on hand. Those are the numbers for the gubernatorial race as it currently stands. In studio, I'm Callie Warren for ABC 7 Fox 22 News.
Running for office is a big money game these days. Well, the time now is 6:21. Coming up after the break, there were more attacks overnight as negotiators try to find a resolution to the war with Iran. We'll have the latest coming up. And we'll also meet a Maine author who decided to trace her German roots with hopes of inspiring others. More Good Morning Maine right after this.
Graham Plattner says police officers are all bastards. He makes racist comments about black people. And if you disagree with Plattner, he calls you retarded and a fag. Read more here. Pine Tree Result Pack is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Carpets looking tired, stained, or just plain dirty? It's time to call the pros. At C&R Carpet Cleaning, we use deep steam technology to remove dirt, odors, pet hair, and allergens fast. Fresh, clean carpets, healthier home. That's the C&R promise. Visit our Facebook page for a free estimate or call us today, 631-7380. Step into clean with C&R Carpet Cleaning.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
20 years of bigotry and hate from Graham Plattner. He calls police officers all bastards, and Plattner insults black people, saying they don't tip. Read more at bigotedplattner.com. Pine Tree Results Pack is responsible for the content of this episode.
Maine has inspired numerous authors and artists over the years, and for Edith Netter, living in the small Oxford County town of Denmark, provided her the time, space, and solitude to retrace her family's German roots for a new memoir. Our Jody Hersey has more.
Edie Netter, a retired attorney who lives in Denmark, Maine, grew up knowing very little about her Jewish German grandparents.
As many children of Holocaust survivors, I grew up in silence. The one thing that my family talked about is the house.
The home Netter is referring to is the 1924 residence built by her grandparents in Germany. It's where her grandmother would make apple fritters, and her Aunt Lily and a friend would often play accordions together.
They were very much assimilated into the community. My family had what then was a decent-sized business. They were well respected.
Netter says her family's status did not protect them or their home from being taken. She writes all about the experience in her memoir called The House at Schumannstrasse 7.
My grandfather got sent to an internment camp on the Isle of Man for 4 years. My grandmother had to flee to safety.
While doing research, Netter got the opportunity to visit the home and even meet the past owners.
The first owner, she had preserved some beautiful fabric that was on the wall. It was silk, kind of a paisley pattern, and for some reason she had saved it and then gave it to me.
She hopes by sharing her family's story, others will take an interest in their own heritage. In Bangor, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And Edith Netter will be speaking at the Maine Jewish Museum in Portland on Sunday, June 7th at 2 p.m. It's a chance to go by and meet her and talk about it. All right, the time now is 6:25. Let's turn things back over to Devin for a full look at our weather forecast.
Alrighty, Craig, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. Alrighty, here we go. Wave heights very quiet out there this morning at around 2 to 3 feet, according to the buoy's high pressure taking control, keeping the wave heights nearby very quiet. We have no advisories along the coast or even on land either, so definitely very peaceful out there this morning. Just a few passing clouds at this moment in time. We will see a lot of sunshine today, so keep those sunglasses handy. You will want those today as you do head out and about. Let's zoom things out. You can see where high pressure is currently at, and it's definitely influencing not only the eastern coast but also the northeast, so a wide area where it's definitely going to be nice to get outside. Other areas seeing some showers and even some thunderstorms this morning, but futurecast for us, definitely going to be nice outside to get outside. Overall, a mostly sunny sky, a few passing clouds as they head towards the evening period, but very limited. But then later on tonight, a mostly clear sky as we head towards tomorrow, maybe a few passing clouds, but overall the sunshine continues. Once we head towards tomorrow night, a few more clouds will be passing through, and by your Friday, a few more clouds will be approaching. But overall today, plan ahead. That UV index forecast for today will be at a 7. That's high. A burn time of simply 30 minutes. So hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, and shade will be necessary to avoid a bad sunburn. So the dew points will also be on the rise soon as we do push forward. A little bit Friday, you'll feel it a little bit. Saturday, you'll feel it a little bit more. Dew points in the lower to middle 60s before we go down Sunday and a parts of your Monday. So overall for today, mostly sunny, lower 80s for the high, and that west wind at about 5 miles per hour. By tonight, we have low 50s under a mostly clear sky, southwest wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, another nice day, mostly sunny, upper 80s for the high, and a southwest wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast for your Friday. Mostly cloudy, highs in the mid 80s, showers and thunderstorms Saturday with highs in the upper 70s. And then for your Sunday, a chance for rain showers, highs cooling into the upper 60s.
See Spot. See Spot run. Run, Spot, run. Oh no, Spot. Oh no, many spots. Time to call Penobscot Cleaning. Our professional cleaners come to you. Our truck-mounted systems are quick and cause little disruption to your home or office. We also clean upholstered furniture and leather. Oriental or fine area rugs are specially cleaned right in our shop. We'll give you the cleanest carpets guaranteed. Visit our website at penobscotcleaning.com. Oh look at that, spotless.
Ready to create your backyard oasis? Alexander's Professional Landscaping will work with you to create your perfect outdoor space. Work one-on-one with our landscape designer to create a unique garden to fit your family's personal aesthetics and lifestyle. Have our pros install your new lawn, garden, or patio. Schedule a consultation today by calling 573-4497. Alexander's Professional Landscaping, the way landscaping should be.
Joe Baldacci, the hand-picked yes man of dark money DC. He's bankrolled by DC and beholden to them, not us. The truth? Joe Baldacci is the only Democrat running for Congress who stands with Trump and opposed implementing Medicare for all Mainers now. Good for the establishment, bad for Mainers. Reject dark money and corporate Democrats. Vote no on DC's hand-picked yes man, Joe Baldacci. Real Change PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Here at Twin City Tire and Service, you will be working with industry professionals. We have ASE certified master technicians and certified tire and lube technicians. If we need your vehicle for a duration of time, we offer a complimentary shuttle service and can even offer a loaner vehicle. Being a client at Twin City Tire and Service means that we will treat you right. This includes a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on mechanical repairs. We also provide you with 1 year of complimentary roadside assistance. Come see us today at Twin City Tire and Service in Brewer.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
There were more strikes overnight in the Middle East. The U.S. hitting a ship heading for Iran, and Iran attacking American allies, Kuwait and Bahrain. ABC's Karen Hua has the details from Washington.
In dramatic new video released by the U.S. military, we see a missile launch from an American warplane at an oil tanker heading to Iran. This is the 6th commercial vessel the U.S. has disabled as part of the naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Iran, in response, attacking American allies Kuwait and Bahrain with missiles and drones. Despite the strikes, Secretary of State Marco Rubio offered optimism a peace deal is still possible, as he publicly testified in Congress for the first time since the war with Iran began.
There is the prospect before us, which could happen today, it could happen tomorrow, it could happen next week, that for the first time, certainly in my memory, they have agreed to negotiate aspects of their nuclear program that just a month ago, or just a year ago, they were refusing to even mention.
Rubio says the U.S. will not offer to lift sanctions to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Instead, the U.S. will only lift sanctions after Iran gives up its nuclear program.
The Trump foreign policy has become a dumpster fire.
Democrats unconvinced any deal will land the U.S. in a better place than before the war.
The war has killed 14 American service members, wounded hundreds more, and killed thousands of civilians. It's driving up the price of gas, food, and much more.
All this is happening as a ceasefire between Israel and Iranian-backed Hezbollah is still shaky and threatens any negotiations between the U.S. and Iran. Karen Hua, ABC News, Washington.
In other news, the Justice Department has scrapped plans for the $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund after facing bipartisan pushback. Critics called the fund a taxpayer-funded slush fund for Trump's allies. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche told lawmakers that they're not moving forward with the fund. ABC's Rachel Scott spoke with GOP senators concerned that taxpayer money could have been used to compensate January 6th rioters who attacked the Capitol.
You want to see him drop it completely?
Yes, I've made that very clear.
If he doesn't, we're back to square one.
Well, Blanche says the part of the settlement that bars the IRS from auditing Trump and his family remains unchanged. Former Congressman George Santos is facing a new federal investigation this morning, 7 months after President Trump commuted his sentence. This time, the probe is focused on suspicious bets placed with a popular prediction market platform. Sophie Flay with that story.
This morning, sources say disgraced former Congressman George Santos is under investigation for possible insider trading on the prediction market Kalshi. Back in February, Santos released this video.
I'm going to be there for the State of the Union in the gallery, guys.
At the time, Kalshi was taking bets on who would attend President Trump's State of the Union speech. Sources say Santos placed wagers tied to his own attendance, but during the address he posted, "Watching State of the Union from an airport TV was not part of the plan." By skipping the speech, sources say he pocketed tens of thousands of dollars. Kalshi froze his account and alerted federal authorities. Santos first gained infamy in 2022 when the lies he told during his campaign were exposed. He claimed to have graduated in the top of his class, that his mother worked at the World Trade Center on 9/11, and that his grandparents escaped the Holocaust.
My grandparents survived the Holocaust, so these regimes of socialism, Marxism, they don't work.
None of it was true.
I think we can all look at ourselves in the mirror and admit that once in our life we made a mistake.
He was expelled from Congress and later pleaded guilty to identity theft and wire fraud, earning him a 7-year prison sentence. But President Trump commuted the sentence, saying, while Santos was somewhat of a rogue, plenty of rogues aren't forced to serve 7 years. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Well, have you heard about this one? A series of bizarre sightings in New York City has police seeking answers. Security cameras have recorded at least 3 instances where people were spotted entering or exiting sewer tunnels in Queens or in Brooklyn. Some of them were wearing headlamps, waders, and other protective gear and are seen carrying shovels and other tools. The city inspected the sewers and verified nothing has been damaged, but what the people are doing remains a mystery. The case also remains under investigation. How about that? All right, well, coming up on ABC 7 News, or Good Morning Maine, rather, which is also ABC 7. Coming up on the second half of the newscast, we'll set sail for Stonington, where planning is underway for a new town pier. We'll hear how that will benefit local fishermen as Good Morning Maine and ABC 7 continues.
This is what everyone's talking about.
And the slam!
This is winner take all. It's all happening now on the home of the NBA Finals. Knicks, Spurs, Game 1, ABC and the ESPN app.
Need a driveway paved or an entire road surfaced? Give Eaton Paving and Excavation a call. Eaton Paving offers a full line of excavation packages, from new home projects to new and replacement septics and driveways. We also install new shoreland and do shoreland repairs. Our operators have more than 75 years combined experience, and we have been delivering quality, professional service for nearly 3 decades. We strive to exceed your expectations. Give us a call today at 207-348-5630 or visit us at eatonpaving.com.
Lights, camera, cheese! The Cheese House is looking for its next star, and it could be you. If you're 21 or older, enter for your chance to appear in the next commercial. Stop by the Cheese House at 5 Pike Drive in Fairfield to enter. While you're there, browse their huge selection of glassware and 420 specialty foods. But we have the cheese! Remember, entries are happening in person at the Cheese House, 5 Pike Drive in Fairfield. Bring your personality, bring your smile, and we have the cheese!
Bobby Charles sounds good, doesn't he? Well, none of it's true. Mr. Crime Fighter? Nope. Bobby Charles has spent 25 years as a Washington, D.C. lobbyist. He'll clean up Augusta? Wrong again. When Charles ran a federal agency, auditors slammed him for poor management and wasting billions of tax dollars. Charles' record was a total disaster. So don't be fooled by Bobby Charles. You can't trust anything he says.
Have you been to a label shopper recently? Well, you should. There's always something new, tons of name brands and sizes to choose from, and the prices, unbelievable. Find a store near you. Label Shopper, great clothes, great prices.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. We hope you're having a nice morning. Today is Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026, and it is also World Bicycle Day. Getting your first bicycle and learning how to ride it is a rite of passage for most of us. It's a great way to get some exercise and also helps cut back on fuel by using pedal power instead of a car. The United Nations established World Bicycle Day for many reasons, including the fact that even the poorest people can get access to basic transportation with a bicycle. It's a very good thing. All right, it's time for some history now. It was on this date back in 1889, America's first electric power line was stretched from Willamette Falls to Portland, Oregon. Few, if any, homes had any electrical wiring at the time. In 1937 on this date, Edward the Duke of Windsor married American socialite Wallis Simpson after abdicating the British throne, a real big controversy at the time. 1943, an altercation between U.S. Navy sailors and young Mexican Americans on the streets of Los Angeles led to several days of clashes. They roamed the city and stripped people who were wearing zoot suits, which were made from large amounts of fabric and was seen as unpatriotic during fabric rationing during World War II. It became known as the Zoot Suit Riots, and even children were targeted. In 1965, astronaut Ed White became the first American to walk in space during the Gemini 4 mission, and in 1976, the Queen song Bohemian Rhapsody went gold and became one of the best-selling singles of all time. And finally, in 1989, Chinese troops entered Tiananmen Square in Beijing and began that bloody crackdown on a student-led pro-democracy demonstration. All right, for birthdays today, they include tennis great Rafael Nadal, who is 40 today, Newsman Anderson Cooper is 59, and former First Lady Jill Biden is 75 years old today. Happy birthday to them, and to you also, if your birthday is today. We hope you have a great day. Certainly going to have great weather for it. It's going to be a sunny day ahead. Let's turn things back over to Devin for a look at that forecast.
Alrighty, Craig, thank you very much. Happy Wednesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. Alrighty, here we go this morning. No advisories in effect, just some passing clouds. Overall, it will be a nice day to get outside yet again under a mostly sunny sky with temperatures making it into the 80s yet again. High pressure will be taking over. Look at this, pretty quiet across the eastern coast, some thunderstorms over the ocean. As for us, just some passing clouds, and again, it's going to get rather quiet for the next few days. Look at Futurecast right here. It's going to be rather nice outside today with lots of sunshine, maybe a few passing clouds later on tonight, but overall mostly clear, a few passing clouds and very limited as we head towards tomorrow. We'll have to wait until tomorrow night for any more clouds that will be passing through. If you're heading outside today, a nice one out there. That UV index forecast will be at a 7. That's high, a burn time of 30 minutes. Hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, and shade will be necessary to avoid a bad sunburn. Your hourly forecast, we have lots of sunshine today with temperatures that will be making it into the upper 70s. And look at that, even some lower 80s as we head towards the afternoon. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig?
Looks fantastic. Thank you, Devin. And when we come back, Jack Webb will have all the day's sports news. Don't go away.
Got old metal and junk cars? Turn that clutter into cash at Daddy and Daughters. We make recycling easy, fast, and fair. From Skowhegan to Dover Foxcroft, from Troy to Lee, you can trust our certified scales and friendly service, offering top prices for junk vehicles in Maine. Whether you drop off or we pick up, Daddy and Daughters covers central and eastern Maine. Come see us at one of our 4 locations and watch your scrap pay off. Daddy and Daughters turn scrap into cash.
Warning, entering keepsakes may cause extreme creativity. From gorgeous fabrics and cozy yarn to gifts you didn't know you needed, we've got it all. Dive into quilting, grab a sewing machine, or join a class and unleash your inner artist. Stick around for our mystery quilt projects if you love a good surprise. And yes, we have a fudge counter because crafting burns calories, right? Keepsakes, where your hobbies and your sweet tooth live happily ever after.
Joe Baldacci, the hand-picked yes man of dark money DC. He's bankrolled by DC and beholden to them, not us. The truth? Joe Baldacci is the only Democrat running for Congress who stands with Trump and opposed implementing Medicare for all Mainers now. Good for the establishment, bad for Mainers. Reject dark money and corporate Democrats. Vote no on DC's hand-picked yes man, Joe Baldacci. Real Change PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
ABC 7 and Fox 22's Jack Webb named Maine's Sportscaster of the Year by the National Sports Media Association.
Welcome back in, folks. The news of the week in New England is the Patriots have a new wide receiver number 1 in A.J. Brown, and he wasted no time getting to Foxborough. After being traded from the Eagles to the Patriots late Monday afternoon, the star wide receiver was already out on the practice field at Gillette Stadium on Tuesday. Brown wasted no time getting to New England and has even admitted he was a Patriots fan growing up and still has a Patriots rug in his house. So he lived out a dream on Tuesday, getting to wear the Patriots logo for the first time.
Just talking to my mom, and I was like, man, I'm still in awe. You know, I'm trying to adjust and, you know, walking up the hill with the uniform on. I was like, man, this is real. Caught myself one point in practice, wasn't paying attention because I was like, dang, I'm a Patriot, you know? You know, and just trying to take it all in as much as I can. You know, obviously, you know, I got back to work quickly, but it's levels to it, and like I said, I'm enjoying it. It's obviously I know this ain't heaven, but you know, it's close to it.
Pats fans, you finally have a wide receiver number one. Let's swing it back locally now and hone in on the Matanocook Academy Lady Lynx softball team, who is well on their way to another shot at the Class C North title. The Lady Lynx are on an absolute tear this season, currently holding a 13-2 record through 15 games, including a 10-game win streak along the way. The successes of the team clearly can be attributed to how they play on the field on game day, but if you ask the team where they think their successes come from, they'll tell you it's rooted in the relationships they've built.
This team right here is a very, very close team. They play well together. They cheer for each other.
I think the success comes from a young age. We've all been playing together since Little League, and off the field we're all really good friends. So having each other's back and just knowing that your teammates support you makes things a lot easier.
In 2025, the Lynx finishes the Class C North runner-ups. This season, they're looking for more, a state title. Matanocook's 3 senior captains know what it takes to win a state title, as they just experienced it with the girls basketball team this past winter. They say that feeling of winning and the community support is what motivates them to do it again.
Having that experience with basketball was truly amazing, and I want to get it again for softball.
It just feels really great to have, just a ton of people. Like, we have a great community supporting us all the time, and it's just a great feeling. It takes kind of the pressure off a little bit.
When you put your best foot forward in sports like this and you do well, the community is always there to back you, and I think it's really special to be at those big moments like that.
Some familiar faces from the basketball court there. Good luck to the Lynx as they look to go into the playoffs hot. We'll stay local and go over to Mansfield Stadium for some Class D baseball. Shed taking on Jonesport Beals Tuesday night. We pick it up in the 4th. Jonesport Beals up 1 from a run in the 1st inning, but Tigers pitcher Jonathan Andrews settled in. He sits down a batter to start the 4th. Later on, though, Emerson gets hit his bat on the ball, and it hits it to second. It takes a tough hop on the second baseman, and he reaches first while moving a runner to third. Same inning, a pass ball allows Trumbull to run in and score, which makes it 2-0. They'd add a third before the innings end, but the Tigers looking to respond in the bottom of the frame. Isaac Sullivan ropes one into center field, which scores a run and gets Shed on the board. Same inning now, bases loaded for the Tigers, looking to really spark something, but Johnson shuts the door with the strikeout as Jonesport Beals wins 7-3. The NHL dropped the puck for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals between Carolina and Las Vegas on Tuesday night. It was a wild game. We pick it up in the 2nd, 2-1 Carolina until Ivan Barbashev ties it for the Golden Knights, and still in the 2nd now. Golden Knights lead now 3-2 until the captain, Jordan Stahl, ties it up for the Hurricanes. This one is on fire. To the 3rd we go. It's going to be Brett Howden who's going to give Vegas the lead again. 4-3 Golden Knights in the 3rd, but you guessed it, Carolina would answer off the draw. It's going to be 4-4 in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. And then late in the game, under 4 minutes left, it's a beautiful, beautiful give and go as Hurdy is going to finish it off late in the 3rd, and the Golden Knights are going to take Game 1 on the road by a score of 5-4. Folks, the NBA Finals are set to kick off on Wednesday, so let's give you a little preview of what the matchup and what's in store. The New York Knicks and San Antonio Spurs are set to take the court for the NBA Finals beginning on Wednesday. The Knicks have had a bit of a break after sweeping the Cleveland Cavaliers 4-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals, their first Finals appearance since 1999. The Spurs, on the other hand, have not had much time to rest, taking the Oklahoma City Thunder to 7 games. The Spurs have been more fortunate in recent history with their last Finals appearance coming in 2014, where they won a championship against the Miami Heat. Some great finals coming up here in the NHL and the NBA. For now, that's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
Bobby Charles sounds good, doesn't he? Well, none of it's true. Mr. Crime Fighter? Nope. Bobby Charles has spent 25 years as a Washington, D.C. lobbyist. He'll clean up Augusta? Wrong again. When Charles ran a federal agency, auditors slammed him for poor management and wasting billions of tax dollars. Charles' record was a total disaster. So don't be fooled by Bobby Charles. You can't trust anything he says.
When you work in disaster services, the phone rings at all hours. Penobscot Cleaning, can I help you? People appreciate hearing a real voice on the other end. Since 1976, that personal touch has set us apart. When disaster strikes, you just want your life back to normal. You want a reputable company, someone you can trust. We take care of things and give you peace of mind. I'm Jason Sear, owner of Penobscot Cleaning Services. 24/7, we're here for you.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
The busiest lobster port in Maine is planning to add to its working waterfront. Our Sam Miller with that story.
In a project that's 4 years in the making, the town of Stonington aims to add access to its fishing pier. The town is seeking grant funding to create a new pier and ramp, which would add more float space. The pier will provide fishermen with better access to the water, which Assistant Harbor Master Dana Webb says is getting scarce.
They're going to need access to get in here. I mean, there's people getting old that are dropping out, but there's a lot more trying to get into it. So it's just going to help all the way around.
The project would add room for more dinghies to be tied up, as well as add resiliency to rising sea levels. Linda Nelson, Stonington's Economic and Community Director, says the project is a great long-term plan to help the town thrive.
I think this is a great example of working waterfront resilience. You know, there's very little working waterfront left in the state of Maine. Stonington is a very busy and productive harbor, but to stay a busy and productive harbor, we need to sustain our working waterfront infrastructure, and this project is a great example of that.
Nelson says that if funds are granted, the project could be finished in a year from the time it starts. In Stonington, Sam Miller, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
One of the prettiest places in Maine. Well, now for a final look at that forecast, let's turn things back over to Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Craig, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. Alrighty, here we go. Wave height's very quiet out there this morning at around 2 to 3 feet, according to the buoy's high pressure taking control, keeping the wave heights nearby very quiet. We have no advisories along the coast or even on land either, so definitely very peaceful out there this morning. Just a few passing clouds at this moment in time. We will see a lot of sunshine today, so keep those sunglasses handy. You will want those today as you do head out and about. Let's zoom things out. You can see where high pressure is currently at, and it's definitely influencing not only the eastern coast but also the northeast, so a wide area where it's definitely going to be nice to get outside. Other areas seeing some showers and even some thunderstorms this morning, but futurecast for us, definitely going to be nice outside to get outside. Overall, a mostly sunny sky, a few passing clouds as they head towards the evening period, but very limited. But then later on tonight, a mostly clear sky as we head towards tomorrow, maybe a few passing clouds, but overall the sunshine continues. Once we head towards tomorrow night, a few more clouds will be passing through, and by your Friday, a few more clouds will be approaching. But overall today, plan ahead. That UV index forecast for today will be at a 7. That's high. A burn time of simply 30 minutes. So hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, and shade will be necessary to avoid a bad sunburn. So the dew points will also be on the rise soon as we do push forward. A little bit Friday, you'll feel it a little bit. Saturday, you'll feel it a little bit more. Dew points in the lower to middle 60s before we go down Sunday and the parts of your Monday. So overall, for for today. Mostly sunny, lower 80s for the high, and that west wind at about 5 miles per hour. By tonight, we have low 50s under a mostly clear sky, southwest wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, another nice day, mostly sunny, upper 80s for the high, and that southwest wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast for your Friday. Mostly cloudy, highs in the mid-80s. Showers and thunderstorms Saturday with highs in the upper 70s. And then for your Sunday, a chance for rain showers, highs cooling into the upper 60s.
President Feta cheese. So fresh. So creamy. No wonder it's the #1 feta in America. If it's excellent, it's President.
There are so many fun things to do in Maine. Now you can enjoy more for less. Check out half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
For the perfect floral arrangement, look no further than Luigi & Fredericks in Bangor. Our expert florists beautifully arrange flowers for any celebration or occasion. Trust Luigi & Fredericks for bouquets that brighten anyone's day.
There's a limited supply available. It's on sale right now. Save with half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
Think you know Robert Charles? Think again. While President Trump was crushing the woke left, D.C. insider Bob Charles was cashing in, making millions holding lucrative contracts with the woke DEI Never Trump Obama administration. Bob Charles, looking the other way, abandoning the MAGA movement, working for liberal DEI-loving Democrats, failing President Trump. Anything for a buck chuck can't be trusted. Trump traitor Robert Charles, woke, radical, wrong. Just too liberal for Maine.
Do you take propane tank?
Anything goes.
How about cardboard?
Anything goes.
How about old rug?
Yeah, anything goes.
So this too?
Furniture removal, basements, garages, attics, hoarder houses. It doesn't matter here at Anything Goes Junk Removal. Anything goes. Well, almost anything.
Hey, Michael, catch this.
Got it, Chuck.
Hey, Robin, catch this.
Ooh, nice pass there, Shaq.
Good morning, America. Good morning, America.
We're ready.
Let's do this.
Game on.
Maine is continuing to expand registered apprenticeship opportunities. Applications for Career Pathways Program grants were due on June 1st. The Maine Department of Labor and Education anticipate making between 2 and 4 awards of up to $250,000. They'll go to school administrative units, high schools, career and technical education centers, adult education programs, and others to develop Maine career pathways that support student and adult learner success. Labor Commissioner Laura Fortman says, quote, Maine is at an important moment. Employers across sectors need talent, young people need clear pathways to careers and economic opportunity, and communities need strategies that help more people stay, work, and thrive here. This convening was about bringing the right people together to move the conversation to action so we can build a system where education and work are part of the same journey. Certainly some good and promising news for some schools around the state. All right, that'll do it for this hour. During the next hour, we have a special guest joining us and will tell us all about the big festival that will be held on the Brewer waterfront this weekend. This sounds like they have a lot of fun activities planned. Thanks for being there, folks. We hope you have a wonderful day.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts.
Many times. Tired of being customer 45978? Yeah, we would be too. Speed means fast uploads, no lag, and zero buffering. But it also means calling you back, showing up on time, and treating you like a person, not a problem. So whether you're working, streaming, gaming, or all three, it is time to make the switch to a provider that actually tries. Go NetSpeed. Service isn't dead. It just moved local.
Come home to the kitchen of your dreams. At Atlantic Designs, we redefine kitchen spaces, turning your dreams into reality. Our experienced designers ensure you get a stunning new kitchen while bringing function and style to every corner. Whether you're on a tight budget or ready to splurge, we've got the perfect plan for you. Your dream kitchen is closer than you think. So contact Atlantic Designs today and start the process. Your dream kitchen awaits with the kitchen people at Atlantic Designs.
There are so many fun things to do in Maine. Now you can enjoy more for less. Check out half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
Escape to Two Rivers Campground in Skowhegan. Enjoy spacious RV and tent sites, full hookups, cozy cabins, and a fully stocked camp store. Unwind with riverfront views, outdoor adventure, and fun for all ages. Book your stay at Two Rivers today.
There's a limited supply available. It's on sale right now. Save with half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
I've been waiting a long time to be on your comfort, compassion, caring couch.
You're such an icon, and I know that word is overused today, but you really are. All the things about myself that make me nervous, but on you it shines so brightly and give me permission to be myself.
That's what makes you so special, and that's why people love coming here. Oh my God, this is so fun, you guys. I'm so grateful that you're all here. Thank you for coming today.
On Fox 22.
Good Morning Maine on WFVX, Fox 22. Great Northwoods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Coming up on Good Morning Maine, one person is dead after getting struck by a vehicle in Bradford. Plus, a new report indicates a growing number of Mainers are struggling to afford their basic needs, and why a new road sign is upsetting some people who make their living in Amherst. We'll have that story as well. Good morning, everyone. I'm Craig Colson. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We'll have those stories and more coming up. A special guest will also join us to tell us about a lot of fun planned for this weekend on the Brewer waterfront, where they're having a big festival, something that you and your family can enjoy. But first, let's turn our attention to that forecast. Some great news in that department, too. If you like sunny weather, well, you are in luck. Today looks like a nice sunny day with temperatures getting up near 80 degrees. Same thing tomorrow, only the